Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, it's pretty obvious the 2024 election is Donald Trump's election to win, despite the Democrats still holding the Electoral College in my average. This is honestly great news, because usually if the Electoral College is this close, it's basically guaranteeing a Donald Trump win. In this video, I will be convincing you that Donald Trump is the ultimate favorite to win this election. And although it may not, the polls and fundraising may not tell us that, but we're going to look at history because history is the most accurate and most realistic sort of data we have. Because we're going to be looking at the two last elections. The two last elections where Donald Trump ran in. And basically say, hey, look, this is what we got. Looking at previous averages, starting off with 2016, Americans, both Republicans and Democrats, walked into this election thinking, okay, it's going to probably look like this, okay? Donald Trump is going to take back Iowa. That's what a lot of Americans were expecting. As you know, during his second term of Barack Obama, Barack Obama has angered a lot of farmers, especially from Iowa. That said, a lot of Iowan farmers have defected to the GOP. They've been motivated with Trump. Trump overall has been very outstanding with getting those as you know, evangelical voters out. And part of the reason was Iowa. Iowa being an evangelical state, Protestant state in general, it honestly benefited Trump to carry that said state, which has been a Democrat stronghold despite voting for Bush in 2004 by barely. But as you know, this state was set to vote for Trump by a lot. A lot of Americans knew that at the time, but they were not expecting that Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania would follow. In fact, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania were supposed to vote overwhelmingly in favor for Clinton. That didn't happen. You take a look at Florida and North Carolina. They were supposed to go to Clinton too. You can see North Carolina was supposed to overwhelmingly go to Clinton also. That failed. You'll notice that Arizona is still for Trump. Yes, it was true. The only swing state of today, and two swing states, Georgia wasn't really considered a swing state at the time. It voted against Obama twice. And we know how big Barack Obama was, so we're like, okay, this isn't really a much compatible state. It technically was. There were campaigns in these two states, but they campaigned in these two in this said state. Two campaigns, I meant. It was not a big traction though. You also got Arizona too, which also voted against Obama twice. But Arizona shifted more to the left, despite voting for Trump. So you got Donald Trump flipping Iowa. That's pretty much the only, and also Ohio. Ohio was expectedly tossed up. No one knew on election day who was going to win. So it didn't really surprise voters that Donald Trump won in Ohio, but it surprised voters like that Donald Trump retook Florida. As you know, Florida has been a Democrat state, and Hillary Clinton was expected to flip back North Carolina blue. Did that happen? No, it didn't. What ended up happening? Donald Trump kept North Carolina's 15 electoral votes. You go to same deal with Florida. He took Florida's 29 electoral votes. So ideally, this is what happened. Election results that were wrong. Well, this is what Americans were expecting it to look like. They were extraordinarily wrong, not their fault. But Donald Trump took Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, not Nevada. Nevada was okay, even though that state was really too close to call. But Donald Trump flipped 5 states that were originally supposed to go for Hillary Clinton. And if Hillary Clinton won these 5 states here, she would have been the president. unexpectedly, these polls have been so skewed in these states of Wisconsin, Michigan, especially, that it was going to be inevitable that Hillary Clinton would win. But to be honest, not so many Americans. All these were really a fan of Clinton. Not many Americans really trusted her. And also North Carolina. They were expecting North Carolina to go for Clinton because, as you know, Tim Kaine comes from Virginia. You know, North Carolinians love Virginians. They come in and out of the states. They would go vote for their fellow Virginian, but that didn't happen. That was the theory of picking Tim Kaine. So it was supposed to look like this. Did it look like this? No. If you went into election day with the average looking like this, I would tell you, not knowing how Donald Trump would perform, I would say, yeah, Republicans are going to win this election. And I would be really shocked. And to be honest, I was 10 years old. No, not 10. 12 years old when the 2016 election was going on. I didn't know what the averages in the polls said. I could care less, like every 12-year-old. But guess what? Donald Trump won. I'm like, oh, we won. I'm like, didn't really understand that we weren't supposed to win. We weren't supposed to win this election. And somehow, and it was a miracle, we won this election. Because all the polls said we were not supposed to win. And Hillary Clinton, coming from a political office, was highly favored to win. Donald Trump, on the other hand, who doesn't come from a political office, actually won, which I found very interesting. Let's take a look. The polls have gotten even worse in 2020 because the idea is Donald Trump's the incumbent president. His presidency was so-called really bad, in that a lot of Americans are going to be running to their places, to the ballots, to get him out. And the average, it looked like this, okay? This is the average. What ended up happening? Well, Donald Trump ended up flipping Florida, Georgia. No, not Georgia. What am I talking about? Florida, comes from Florida, and North Carolina. Not as much of a flip as he did in his 2016 run, but he flipped 2 states. Not to mention, he gained more votes than his 2016 run. He also, Wisconsin was supposed to go over to Biden by 8. Did it? No. It went to Biden by 0.7. And if Trump just did better by 1 point in Wisconsin, he would have won the state. If he'd done better by 1 point in Arizona, he would have won Arizona. 1 point in Georgia, he would have won Georgia, and there you go, he won the election. It's so simple. And ideally, Donald Trump wasn't even supposed to gain 200 electoral votes. That was the idea in 2020 at the time. Donald Trump was never supposed to gain over 200 electoral votes. He ultimately did, overperforming the record. Now let's boost all the way. We went from Donald Trump in average being 188 to 262. This is his biggest amount of electoral votes carried during, as you know, his run for office. In his run for office instead of elections. But yes, you'll see Donald Trump went into the lion's den with 214 in 2016, 188 in 2020, and it looks like it hasn't really changed much, but Donald Trump is walking in the lion's den with 262 electoral votes. That's amazing. Kamala Harris only has a tiny lead, okay? And and people I've met say that Kamala Harris is going to do this huge sweep, and I'm like, no, because data we're getting from history tells us, you know what, it's not looking so good for Kamala Harris, okay? It does not look so good. Do you guys notice a pattern? You'll see every single, out of our 3 averages, the Rust Belt is under Democrats. And supposedly, Democrats are losing the Rust Belt due to the labor unions withdrawing. They are fleeing en masse. They're performing a mass exodus from the Democrat Party, and even some endorsing the Republican Party. That's because Kamala Harris, like I said in my previous video, does not appeal to those voters. She appeals to only women, okay? Women. And that's pretty much And that's horrible, actually really horrible, because the Democrat Party was supposed to appeal to workers, right? Workers, auto workers, unions, um, while the Republican Party is supposed to appeal to mainly business owners, right? Business owners, businesses, large and small businesses. And there was never a gender divide, but now take labor union out of the Democrat Party, take all that stuff, auto worker, labor unions, factory workers in general, and you're replacing them with women, okay? Minorities. So where are the auto workers supposed to go? Well, then again, there's no real answer to that. They would go for Trump. Now Trump has a base of just farmers, workers, auto workers, unions, along with some minority groups, more than usual. And all Kamala Harris has is women, Gen Z women, and some old men with low testosterone. And yeah, that's all she has. And you're telling me with that small little group that she's going to win the election. Here's the thing: a lot of people I meet just want Democrats to win, and they go into full denial about Donald Trump possibly overperforming. He will overperform. All Donald Trump needs to do is win just 8 more electoral votes. He wins, and I can guarantee you he goes across 270, and he picks up some states that, or possibly all those 6 swing states that we so dear want him to win. So yes, it's honestly Donald Trump's election to win. We also have our graph here. So historic demographics polls are saying that, okay, a lot of groups are going towards Trump. White non-college graduates, I haven't got a number yet, but they're aggressively going for Donald Trump. Okay, you could possibly see white non-college graduates go to 70. Let's see if it goes to 70. That would be amazing if that did happen. 2%. I would ideally expect it to be a 3% gap. Yeah, you'll see Donald Trump takes the electoral college with white non-college graduates alone by 3.1. Minnesota goes red by 3.2. I don't think Trump's going to win Minnesota by 3.2. I can guarantee you that. Georgia, same amount. Virginia's on the edge. So is North Carolina and Colorado. North Carolina, New Mexico, and Colorado, along with Oregon. So these are white voters. But now let's increase the college graduates. Rumor says that Kamala Harris is going to pick up 63% of white college graduates. Really, that would be amazing if she did. Like, wow, I'm so scared. But if that really did happen, but let's see if Trump would overperform that. Yeah, Donald Trump's still winning the swing states, 296. He's losing Georgia. But take a look at African Americans. Bring it down to 60. Donald Trump said to lose by 68, which is huge, actually really good for Donald Trump. Bring it down to 2% of the margin. Yes, you'll see Georgia goes to Trump by 10. That's part of the reason is the white non-college graduate, which Georgia has incredibly a lot of, is all the way up to 70. So that is also amazing here. And for some reason, Georgia is a little bit more conservative than Florida. But I can guarantee you when we shift Hispanic down to 52%, we could see a different scenario. I'm not saying we will, but let's see. We're going to put the margin to 3. Okay, 11.9. So out of the sudden, Florida is getting the most conservative now. Virginia is on the line, along with Minnesota, New Mexico. Okay, it's honestly looking really, really, really bad. You also have Maine, which is also in the hands of Donald Trump. I don't think Trump's going to win Maine, honestly, but Maine has a lot of white non-college graduates. And if it's true, Donald Trump's going to pick up this crazy amount of white non-college graduates. He probably won't pick up Maine, but probably New Hampshire. I mean, seriously, because Maine's a little bit more liberal than New Hampshire. But let's see, bringing it, let's see, 54 for Asian. Four. Okay, this is what an overperformance would look like. I honestly think the map looks weird with Maine for Trump. Um, it's a little weird. Okay, but let's see the scenario if we give the correct amount. But the swing is by 5% only. Okay, for example, Trump is leading white non-college graduates in 2020 by 62%. Now, add 62 plus 5 extra. That would be 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. So it would move the needle to 67%. Could he win more than that? Absolutely. I hope he does. And I imagine this gap would be around 3. So you'll see. Yeah, you'll see. Wait, hang on. Okay, yeah. 3. Okay. Yes, you'll see Donald Trump wins. He actually picked up 2 additional states, New Hampshire and Maine. New Hampshire, as you know, 1.4, because New Hampshire has a lot of white non-college graduates, which I truly believe that New Hampshire is actually a compatible state to win. Donald Trump almost won that state in 2016. A state that was honestly really hard to poll, was actually tossed up. Donald Trump almost won. I think, honestly, getting those voters out and just New Hampshireites, just opposed to radical far left policies in general, very have strong ideal excitement when it comes to gun rights and along with low taxes. I have a feeling, and I'm not guaranteeing a Trump win, but Trump could possibly win the state if everything is going well for him that night. And I have a feeling it will. So yeah, this is what it's suggesting by white non-college graduates. And we know white non-college graduates, a lot of them are gun owners and a lot of them are hunters. So that does explain. So white college graduate, we'll shift that to the left by, okay, I think it's 59. Bring it to 59. Okay. For Dems, okay? 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. Perfect. We're going to put the swing state by 3%. Okay. Same deal. We have problems with Georgia, 2%. But Donald Trump still wins this election, and that's thanks to the white non-college graduates. They're going to help us filter out that white college, aka the Gen Z woke women that are going to come out in droves in support of their Kamala Harris, because their country pop star singers tell them to go and vote for them. So that's going to probably help filter that out, and I'm really hoping it does. Bring the African American from 90 to 85 for Dems. Okay. And make a margin of 2%. Donald Trump gains 13. He takes back Georgia. He expands his margins in the swing states. Hispanic, 65. We're going to bring it down to 55. 33. And you'll see New Hampshire and Maine return, and that's because, as you know, it's not just white non-college graduates that are going to help us win. It's just other groups. But yes, Kamala Harris still wins the popular vote despite, as you know, 0.8. But Donald Trump has all the electoral votes needed to win, 55 to 42%. This is huge. But looking at Asian, okay, Asian, we'll bring it down to 56% for Democrats. We're going to rise it up to 4% for the third parties, so 40%. And this is what it actually looks like if if each group swings to the correct poll winner, according to the, I don't know how to say it. by 5. Okay, we're doing it by 5. The correct doing it according the swing numbers according to polls by 5 points. Yes, you see Georgia. You got North Carolina. Yeah, Georgia 1.5. Arizona 3.8. Nevada 3 point. Okay, Pennsylvania 3.4. Wisconsin 4.8. Michigan 2.3. So it's looking pretty good, and that's if we bring the correct. That's even includes the white college graduate. We brought it from 50 to 59% for Kamala Harris. If we went down, I would think it would look like 49. This is what it would look. 54 or 50, 43, 42, 40, 49% to. It would be like a tie. This is what it would look like. And yeah, you got Minnesota, you got New Hampshire and Maine. Virginia's about to flip, along with, yeah, New Mexico's a tie. Yeah, this is if white college graduates trend to the right by 5. But then again, if it probably would look like this if Kamala Harris stood in. But then we see a different way by age. And I think we should do the age. Then we'll end this long video. But yes, 18 to 29. I have a feeling that's going to trend to the right. We'll do 55. Because then again, we got to remember there are males, right? We have male. Okay. Young males, 3%. Okay. Basically, we're trending everything to the right. We'll do 4. Because third parties. Okay, this is what it looks like now. Trump wins. If we get more younger people, and we are, trend it to the right by 5, that we would win. This is just amazing. 54. Let's see, 54% for the 30 to 44 vote. Expand Trump's margin from 52 to 56. Maybe it's 57. Yeah, that would be 5. Okay. It looks like this. Okay, now Trump is carrying all the swing states. He's leading in the popular vote here by 1.9, almost a point, 2 points. But looking at the last age group, Trump gains by older folks by 42, 43, 44, 40, 55, 56. So let's say 56. Okay, so it really ideally looks like this. Minnesota goes red by 2. Maine goes red by 0.9. But I still ideally think that it would be pretty close. New Mexico's about the tip. Virginia. And Trump wins by 4.7. That would be ridiculous. Well, that would be a huge win. But anyway, yeah, this is and benefits for Trump, guys. Not once have we did a scenario where Kamala Harris won the election. From the Electoral College aggregates from the past to the aggregate today, it's looking extremely well for Trump. He's winning polls still, while that wasn't the case in 2016 or 2020, which shows that, he's probably going to overperform over the bar when it comes to that, and that's going to result to him winning the election. So what do you guys think in regards to our analysis today? Let me know down below, and as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.